Hi everybody, and welcome back to day 5 of my Christmas card series. So today we are going to be using the Cricut and the Gypsy. For those of you who have the Cricut and the Gypsy, you can go ahead and make this card as well, or you can just sit back and watch me make it. So today we will be using the Cricut Artiste Philosophy cartridge, and this is a close to my heart cartridge, and we will be using the Teresa Collins December 25th cartridge. We will also be using our Spellbinder Nestabilities Card Creator B. So what does our card look like for today? This is the card that we will be making today. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so let's go ahead and bring up the supplies so we can get started with day number 5 of the Christmas card series. So now my card measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've taken it and scored it in half to make it a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. And this is some of the Joann Fabrics textured cardstock. So now my next layer, we are going to be using the Card Creator letter B, and this piece of cardstock, or the one you're going to use, is the next size down from the largest size. So now for those of you who don't have the Card Creator, this piece of cardstock measures 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And what I've gone ahead and done is inked my edges using the Tim Holtz Distress ink, and I'm using the Evergreen Bow. So this is going to lay on top of here like so, so we can go ahead and add that layer. For right now I'm just going to lay out my card because I think I want to put some ribbon on here, so bear with me while I lay out my pieces and decide if I'm going to put the ribbon across here. Okay, I've decided I'm not going to lay out ribbon because I'm going to do something else with making a bow. So what we're going to do is go ahead, get out our ATG gun. I'm going to get my scrap sheet of paper here so I can get my tape down. So I'll get my tape on all of my edges all the way around, and then I make my usual X. Now the green cardstock is once again some of the Joann Fabric textured cardstock. As I said before, I'm trying to use up all of the cardstock because this is really not good for cutting on your Cricut, and I have cut it on Erica and it actually does work a little bit better, but I kind of like the heavier cardstock, and this is not that heavy. It's very lightweight. So now we've got our top layer on, so we're going to put our card to the side for right now, because what I want to do is talk about adding our next layer and then our wording. So now this piece right here is from the Artiste cartridge, which is the Close to My Heart cartridge. And the image is located on page 58, and it's this image right here, and it looks like they're using it for a little mini album, but I'm going to use it for my top layer. So now what I did, because I wanted to make sure that this fit within here, is I ended up using my Gypsy, and I've cut this for the width to be 3.47 and the height to be 3.68. So what you're going to do is take off your aspect ratio, lock key, and put in those measurements for the width and the height. So let's go to that cartridge, and I'm going to tell you which key that is on your Cricut and your Gypsy. That is going to be key number 28. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit your accent 2 button, which is right here, and then you're going to hit key 28, which is this key right here. So it will look like this. And if you want, you can go ahead and hide those holes because you're really not going to use them. I should have did that and I didn't, and realized it after the fact, after I had cut it out. So that's what we're going to use for our top layer. Now for the wording that we're putting on here, that is from the Teresa Collins December 25th cartridge, and it doesn't come with a handbook, but it looks like this. And we are going to be using the wording right here that is listed as ho ho ho, and it kind of forms the shape of a little tree. So now to do this, I needed this to fit within here, so I actually cut this at 1 3/4 inches. So let's go to that cartridge on our gypsy, and we'll go ahead and bring that up. So it is key number 50, and it looks like this. Now when this cuts out, it cuts out in, I believe it's 3 pieces. So what we'll have to do is some paper piecing. So if you're not a fan of paper piecing, you're not going to like this. So what I did was I cut it out in white cardstock, and then I took my embossing ink and inked the letters, and then I used my embossing powder. This is by Recollections, and this color is called Clear Gold. So it looks like this. And then the next thing I've done is I've gone ahead and run it through my Xyron sticker maker rather than trying to glue the letters on there. So we're going to start off by putting our letters down. And I want to make sure I get the right one down first. So I'm going to peel off the backing here as soon as I can get to it. Okay. It's being stubborn. Okay, so might not have been a good idea to use the Xyron for this, because this is really sticky. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is lay down these layers here, because this is the last part of the word to form the ho 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 and the other words. So I'm not going to push this down too hard because I may have to adjust and move it, and I don't want to stick it together just quite yet. So now we'll add our next set of letters, which I believe would be this set right here. That's very sticky there. So I'm going to put down my next set of letters, which are going to go about right there, because we're going to spell out these words. And as I said, I'm not going to press down too hard because I want to wait until I have all my letters down. So now I'll add my next set. And this is the way the Cricut cuts them out. So that's why it's a matter of adjusting and doing some paper piecing. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit better so you can see what I'm doing here. So I apologize for making anyone dizzy. So now we'll go ahead and peel off and add our next set of layers. I didn't realize that it cuts it like this until after I got ready to take it off the mat, and I noticed that's what it did. So now the word Noel is here, so you kind of want to line up and get your N next to your O. And then we'll put on our last set of letters, which form the word peace, believe, and holiday. Like so. So then you'll have your little tree. Now I'm going to do some adjusting and make sure I have it on there even. and then I'll come back once I have it finished. I don't want you to sit here and watch me do that. So I'll be back after I have everything glued down and lined up the way I want. Okay, everybody, so I am back and I have all my letters glued down. What I did find that is that using the glitter, some of the glitter got on the back of the wording, so it was difficult even with the Xyron machine to get it to stick down, so I had to rerun it, some of the letters or just portions of it, back through the Xyron machine so that I could get a good adhesive on the back. So now we are actually ready to add this to our card. So I'm going to zoom back, and I apologize if I'm making anyone dizzy. Okay, so let's bring our card back, and we'll go ahead and add this layer, which is going to be right here, to our card. So I'm going to get some tape on the back of here, and I'm going to use the ATG gun, sorry, my Tombow adhesive for that. I'm going to get some tape all the way. And then also what I want to do is I'm using this glue pen that's by close to my heart. I just picked this up and I actually like this one better than the two-way zig pen. So let me get my glue all the way along here, and then we'll be ready to add it to our card. Just make sure it doesn't stick to your fingers like it just did with me. So I think we've got enough glue going all the way around on our edge here. And move this, and then we'll add this to our card. So I'm going to place this right here, and then I'm going to just press down all the way around. And now we have our top layer with our wording on our card. So now the next thing I want to add is I've gone ahead and cut out a star flourish and a flourish, and these are also both from the Teresa Collins December 25th cartridge, and we'll be cutting out this one right here and then this one right here. So now I've cut both of those at 1 3/4 inches. Now I apologize, I gave the wrong measurements for the wording that I cut out. With the wording, I needed it to fit within this piece right here. So I actually took my aspect ratio off once again, and this was cut at, the width is 2.65 and the height is 2.50. So make sure you make that change, and I apologize for that. So now what I've done is, like I said, I've cut out the flourish star, and that was cut at 1 3/4 inches, and that will be key number 10, which looks like this. And then the star is going to be key number 20, and it looks like this. So I've cut those both out in white cardstock, and then once again I use my embossing ink and the Recollections clear gold and embossed both of those, and then I've run them through my Xyron sticker maker. So let's go ahead and get these added onto the card. And this is also going to be very sticky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and peel this off, because this is going to take a minute. Well, actually it's coming up pretty easy, so I guess we'll continue. So I plan on adding that right down here. like so. And then just pressing down. So now we'll go ahead and I want to add the star. And I'm going to peel this off of the sticker maker paper as well. I can tell you one thing, this stuff sure is sticky. So everything should stick down. And I'm going to put my star right up here in the corner. So now we're basically done with the front of our card. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and add my, you know what, that's right, my bling, and possibly some more embellishments from my stash that I picked up at Joann's and Michael's for the Christmas card series. I'll put those on the front and then I'll come back with my inside sentiment. Okay everybody, so I am back with my finished card and I've added my bling. So what I've done is just put some bling in each corner of the card, and then I added some bling on the stars, or these are actually snowflakes. I don't know why I said stars. And then I've taken one of my Recollections embellishment bowls and placed that there in the center to accent the wording. So it looks like this. And now for my inside, what I've done is I've cut out another piece of cardstock, and I'm using the card creator letter B, and this cardstock piece is the 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. So it would be the next size down from your largest size if you're using the card creator, and I've just given you the measurements if you don't have the card creator. And then I've taken that and inked the edges, once again using the Evergreen Bow by Tim Holtz Distress Ink. And I've run that piece through my Cuttlebug folder, and this one is called Baubles and Bows. And then just here on the edge, I've taken my pine branches, the Cheery Lynn die. This is letter B146, and that's B as in boy. And then the last thing I did was stamp my image, and that stamp set is from the Stampin' Up! 2002 Seasoned Greetings. So that's it everybody. This is my day number 5 of my Christmas card series. So now, don't forget to come back for day 6, because once again, we will be using the Cricut. Thanks for watching. Bye.